The Sonic Boom by Joel Beckerman, with inputs from Tyler Gray, gives us an exciting view of sound and its effect on us. His title, The Sonic Boom, How Sound Transforms the Way We Think, Feel, and Buy, could not be more exact about what he discusses in his book. He uses many stories and some of his personal experiences from childhood to adulthood to help us understand his passion for sound. Beckerman's enthusiasm for sound and music is felt with every word that he writes. It is obvious that he has so much passion being a music producer and helping companies bring their brands to life. His story at the opening of his book immediately draws you in and ignites your sense of hearing. By describing Chili's sizzling fajitas, he places you right in the restaurant, and his words open your ears to all the sounds that happen in that setting. These are what he calls boom moments. Chili's was able to distinguish its brand, beginning with a simple sound. Sound is very powerful, and sometimes we don't realize how it affects us daily. If you take the time to stop, close your eyes, and open your ears, it is surprising all of the little sounds that then appear. Beckerman reminds us not to take the sense of sound for granted with his touching story about Sarah Sherman, who received hearing devices at 29 years of age and finally was able to experience the gift of hearing. She had to take the time to soundscape or determine which of those sounds are most useful to her as she goes about her day, learning and growing with her new sense. As he writes, Beckerman makes you pay attention to the sounds around you. I caught myself many times stopping and paying attention to all the little sounds happening around me, from the ice machine within my refrigerator dropping a new set of cubes into the tray, to the sound of a truck's engine rumbling as it passed by my house. Sound is constantly happening all around us, and I like how Beckerman says that you use the identification and curation of sound and music to make your world work better. This is very true, and it reminded me of when my husband and I began house hunting. One important aspect of our search was the exterior sounds, and after much searching, we had found the perfect one until we walked into the backyard and a huge airplane flew over us, roaring at us with a loud, menacing sound. We immediately looked at each other and agreed that this was not going to work. Needless to say, we did not end up going with that house. In an interview that Beckerman does with NPR, the interviewer, Audie Cornish, mentions that when she is scanning the web, she finds herself muting all of the different sound options presented. Beckerman then states that the problem in the world is that we are overrun with sound. Those sounds don't help you. They are intrusive and get in the way. He explains that the main focus of his work is to pull all sound out and only add sounds that elevate the experience for the customer. He states that he wants us to start a movement, to be aware of the sounds around us, and for us to take charge, telling supermarket managers to change the soundtrack if we don't like it. This is powerful. In an article in the New York Times by MP Mueller, he writes about a focus group session he did with ex-convicts. Mueller was trying to understand what would trigger an emotional response by these men. Was it words or sounds that reminded them of their time spent there? When the convicts were asked about sounds, it's like as if they came to life. Mueller writes that they were clearly agitated. They stepped on each other's words as they described the sound of the cage door shutting, the jangling of keys on the warden's belt. Mueller is absolutely correct when he says that sound can build such a strong emotional connection. This is exactly what Beckerman wants us to understand as well. This is why it is so important that companies start with sound when trying to develop their brand. That is how people make connections. Sound and music trigger our memories and take us back to places and thoughts that we have enjoyed. Even in his book, Beckerman so eloquently words our memories and takes us back to our Disney trips and the sounds of fajitas at Chili's. In another article found in the New York Times, Natalie Angier writes about how researchers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology have identified neural pathways that react almost exclusively to the sound of music. Other sounds, such as a dog barking or a toilet flushing, leave the musical circuits unmoved. I personally think that this is so cool. Beckerman is right. Companies need to understand the value of sound in music. It can add so much to a brand that will stick in people's brains and memories and truly light it up. Beckerman closes with a message to his readers to start listening and thinking about all the layers of sound around us. He says that those sounds have the power to make us feel something. They have stories that they're trying to tell us. There's a boom moment in there somewhere. I highly recommend this book to anyone in the marketing field who wants to transform their company or brand into something more and connect with their customers. Start with sound and you will be able to truly succeed.